whole second album. I recorded the whole second album as a template, right? I had 14 records. They only had 2 tracks, and I noted it wasn't my best verses, but the choruses were right. Because I focused on my song structure, right? And I went to meet Jimmy. Jimmy was like, he played me Game's record. Game was in the studio with Dre for over a year at that point. He said, yo, what you think about it? I said, no, he can rap. I said, he's a great rapper. He's just not a good songwriter yet. Right? And he said, if you fix this, you think you can fix this? I said, I can fix this. If you fix it, I'm sure that everything is good between, you and Dre and everything is good. And I'm like, okay, that's nothing. I'll fix it. Now, I only worked with Game for 4 days. The 4 days that I worked with Game, I muted my vocals, right? On documentary special, Higher, Church for Thugs, Hate It or Love It, How We Do, all the special, all these records, they was just laying there. They was just the records that I had, that I was building. That's like you building your next album. And when he rocked on he
Man, oh man, here we go again, y'all. That was a clip from 50 Cent, recent interview. I believe it was Young Money Radio, and you heard what he was talking about. Once again, his involvement with the Game documentary album, which I have to say is the hardest Game album of all of them. Some people like the Doctor's Advocate better, which was a hard album as well, but the documentary was just hitting, you know what I mean? But anyways, we've seen, like, I'm really wondering, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to stir the pot. Y'all hit the comments. I'm really wondering if this might spark some things back up because, listen, we've gone over this so many times with stories with 50 and the Game, and then just other rappers in general, right? We're realizing how much of an egomaniac a lot of these rappers are. We realize how sensitive a lot of these rappers are. And that's just the facts, right? And we know Fifth and Game have been in a good place, I guess, compared to where they used to be. Like, the beef is aside. It's been deaded. We seen them actually be in the same place on a couple different occasions. And reportedly, that is all thanks to Whack 100. You know what I mean? Reportedly, Whack put that whole thing together. But anyways, moving along, right? We heard, though, on Clubhouse, a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe, the Game, like, as Clubhouse was really starting to take off, the Game was on there, and he was speaking about being in the studio with Dre, how frustrating it could be, getting caught up in that process, you know what I mean, where Dre's such a perfectionist. And we know we've seen other artists like Rakim, Hitman, other people, like, we could go on and on of artists that were on Aftermath, Bishop Lamont, you know, who were working with Dre and reportedly had almost whole projects out, but we didn't see it because they got hung up on something and something didn't work out. Like, the Game was going on and on about that. And I wonder if that kind of motivated 50 Cent to speak on this a little more. Like, even though that they're cool now, they've always went back and forth about, ever since they fell off, about the Game's, or I'm sorry, 50's involvement in the documentary, you know, where the Game tried to say, man, he had a little bit to do with it, you know, but then Fifth is kind of indicated it's almost like, nah, man, I had the assist on that project. I was heavily involved in that. Like, you heard what he said there. You know, he more or less worked with Game to get closer in a closer working relationship with Dre. And, you know, Jimmy Iovine kind of said, yo, like, we got this guy, because we know Game had been on the label with Aftermath for a long time. You know what I mean? And he said, listen, let's put him with the G-Unit brand. They'll give a West Coast artist to the G-Unit camp. That'll be a good look for the whole G-Unit campaign. And also, Fifth, I know you can write songs, right? Whether you think 50 Cent is the hottest rapper or not, which even there, you heard him talking about on his second album, he felt like those were some of his weaker verses. but the hooks were on point. We got to give Fifth the credit to know Fifth can put together some catchy ass hooks, right? Disco Inferno, In the Club, that's from the first album, 21 Questions. I mean, Nate sung the hook, but we just know Fifth has had a lot of very, very catchy tracks, Hate It or Love It, which kind of, remember, the remix version featuring G Unit appeared on the Massacre 52nd album. But you hear him, he's like, I was in there 4 days, I muted my vocals, I put these tracks out there. I helped him put them together. One of the ones that he mentioned, Special. You could 100% tell that was a song that Fifth was involved in. That was, I don't know, I feel like, because he mentioned what? Special, Hate It or Love It, Higher. I don't know if he said West Side Story. As we know, he was featured on West Side Story. But Special just felt like that kind of like love song type deal. That felt like a 50 Cent track. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, man, the way they've kind of went back and forth over his involvement. And at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, the game's always kind of tried to negate it and say, it wasn't that much in Fifth. Nah, man, like I was the assist, like I mentioned earlier. And at the end of the day, we know it's because they're egomaniacs, man. And we see it's still crazy to think where things went after the beef. That Game got moved over to Geffen, and essentially Dre more or less sided with 50 Cent, right? I mean, let's be honest. But like I said, these guys got big egos, and hit the comments. Let me know if you think that this may cause things to clash again. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows, man? The rap game's so crazy. I always point out with the inclusion of social media, Instagram, right? And now Clubhouse too, we see more up close the way a lot of these rappers really feel and behave. Like sometimes it's childish, sometimes it's just they get mad, sometimes it's a marketing campaign or a ploy. But I don't know. Hit the comments and let me know if you think this could kind of spark. I'm not saying that they're ever gonna go back into full out beef mode, and I don't want to see that. That's why I said I'm not trying to stir the pot. I'm just saying I don't think the game's gonna like what 50 Cent was saying here. Y'all let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about those tracks, about Fifth's involvement, what you think the dopest Game album is, your thoughts on 50 Cent as a songwriter, hook writer. Let's talk about it all and break it all down in them comments. I thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. It's Jay Coffee Talk. Make sure to sub, guys. Music, news, sports, daily content. I'm out of here. Peace.